Greetings, my friends. Welcome to the Grit and Equity Talks podcast with yours truly, Dr. India White. I'm so thrilled to be here with you. This is a wonderful time as we're crossing over into the new month. I know we have new birthdays. Yes, I am celebrating a birthday this week. Thank you to all of you for the birthday love. And I hope that you are really having a great just cleansing and you're enjoying the fact that school is out and that you are able to hopefully spend more time with family and loved ones and friends. Now, with that said, I do want to make some announcements as we get ready to go into this wonderful episode. First things first, the Grit and Equity Talks podcast. It will be featured on the X Factor EDU, Nat Joseph and the Tribe, and you can find it also on Spotify. I also want to encourage you that whenever you get a chance, please check me out on social media. You can check out my Facebook is Miss India White, LinkedIn is The India White, Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach, Instagram is Indie238, YouTube is India White 123, and TikTok is Dr. India White. I also wanted to remind you to please check out my website. I try to keep that current. Thank you to those that have been reaching out to me from the school districts, getting me in your school districts to do future trainings or keynotes and things like that. I see you. I'm thankful for that. And I'm willing and ready to come aboard to help you. So yes, the website again is www.india-white.com. And you can also check out the blogs. You can check out the books and you can schedule whatever event you need, however I can support you. I also wanted to encourage you guys, please look into the upcoming events. So I do have an event coming up in North Dakota this upcoming week, and I will be seeing you guys also at FCTM in Orlando. Hopefully, we'll be able to get a lot of work done across the state of Florida as we unite together. I'll also be looking forward to seeing you guys at the camp conference. We're making plans for NCSM. We are making plans for NCTM. We are making plans again for ICTM and beyond. So if you have an organization or a conference and you want to schedule me in there, please, I'd be honored to join you amazing folks out there. So, and thank you to those that have definitely given me an opportunity. I appreciate it very much. Now, I wanted to remind you guys the objective of this show. So if you're trying to close the achievement gap, but you're having classroom management issues, or if your students aren't motivated to do work, or you just want to know about grit and equity in general, then you can join me on the Grit and Equity Talks podcast. Now, I know that we're transitioning into the summer. And so because of that, I do want to kind of shift a little bit and talk about grit, but just kind of in general, so that all of us, as we're doing our self-care and we are debriefing and we're unpacking from the school year, that we'll have some definite go-tos to help us. And so with that said, I want to talk about overcoming trauma through grit. Again, I want to speak with you all about overcoming trauma through grit. And so we always talk about what grit is. We say that grit is definitely having a passion and perseverance to obtain long-term goals, which is coined by Dr. Angela Duckworth. And so it's imperative that we understand what we're referencing here. And then, of course, talking about trauma. Now, before we get into there, I want to wish you guys some fun and joy because I feel like this is going to be great for us as we're moving forward together. And I want to share a little bit of the birthday love that I have experienced with you. All right. So Thanks for letting me share. I just wanted to share that. Thank you, Maggie, for being amazing and for the wonderful birthday fun that we had as we watched Dolphins. Now, I know that, this subject is talking about trauma, but one of the ways that we overcome trauma is definitely seeing how can we cultivate joy and cultivate just that feel good feeling and that love, and how do we learn how to release trauma? How do we learn how to let go of certain things and certain experiences that were very traumatic to us? And so with that said, I want to now shift over and play for you. So this says developing resilience and grit to overcome life's challenges. So this is by, looks like Sanju. So she says, every day our world is a little bit more uncertain. But you don't have to be at the mercy of uncertainty when you're fighting the tides. With just a few lessons, you can set yourself up to be more resilient and grit your teeth through tough times. All right. So she says, imagine you're going through life when all of a sudden something bad happens. You lose your job, get in a car accident, or you have your house burned down. How do you react? How do you give up? Or do you give up? Do you feel like everything is against you, or do you pick yourself back up and keep going? That is great, right? So she says it's easy to react negatively when something bad happens. You might lose your job, get in a car accident, or have your house burned down. What do? You got to keep going. So she says resilience and grit are two traits that will help you overcome any challenge that life throws your way. So in this article, she's going to discuss how do you overcome these challenges. So let's keep scrolling down, see what she has to say. So first off, we have to understand, what is resilience? Resilience is the ability to bounce back after a stressful event. It's not just about surviving difficult times, but also it's about thriving in them. And so it's huge to be able to thrive. Now, I want to focus on this. It says resilient people don't dwell on past mistakes or try to control the future. They accept things the way or as they are. They stay present with their feelings and actions and move forward with hope and faith. So I'm going to give you a little bit of realness, a little bit of love right now. So unfortunately, I've had trauma. I've had to learn how to overcome. I've had to use various tactics, including I've had to have wonderful counseling, therapy, massages, times at the beach, sessions of forgiveness. I've had to, take trips, get my mind off of things. I've had to learn how to compartmentalize. And I've had to learn how to recycle lemons and turn them into lemonade. And I'm saying this to all of my viewers out here who you're dealing with some type of hardship, some type of ridiculous life situation that just life threw you a curveball out of this world. You don't even have all the words. You don't even know what to say to people. You don't even know how to release the announcement yet. Like, it's so much on your back and you're like, I just don't know if I can pull through. I want to encourage you and let you know you have what it takes to pull through. About how when life gives you hardships, you have to see yourself as a basketball. And he talked about how you have a bounce to you. And he said that that resilience that you have within is going to help you to spring back and to bounce, just like as if life just shattered you on the ground like a basketball. That basketball has a certain amount of bounce to it and it bounces back. And so I want to encourage every single person listening to me. You have enough resilience and strength to bounce back. You might not feel like you do. Might not seem like you do. It might seem like the cards are stacked against you, but I'm telling you, it's going to work out for your good. You do have enough grit to overcome the traumatic situations that you're going through. My heart feels for you. I wish you didn't have to go through it, but I want to also encourage you and let you know, hang in there because it's going to get better. You might not see it right away, but this has to work out. And I constantly, through those positive self-talks and those optimistic moments, I've learned the power in that, being able to have resilience because of a positive, optimistic mindset. And I also want to tell you guys in the session to remain grateful. It's very easy to look through a bitter lens to see, like, I can't believe you did that to me. I can't believe that person's gone. I can't believe, they broke my heart. I can't believe, I got slighted or whatever your situation is. And sometimes it's easy to allow bitterness to creep up, but I want to challenge you to see beyond the bitterness and to learn to heal, forgive, to accept it, and to know that something good, fresh energy, fresh opportunities, fresh relationships, fresh people are around the corner. Okay. All right. What is grit? So this guy's pushing that ball. He needs grit for that, for sure. So it says, grit is persistence, passion, and perseverance toward a goal. Grit is a personality trait. It is not just about having the will to succeed. I think that's very interesting. A personality trait. I want to say, even if you don't have the personality, you can still have grit. So it says it's not about just having the will to succeed, but it's about having the inner resources to persevere when things get tough. So it's about the inner resources. It's about having inner resources to persevere when things get tough. The person with high levels of grit can accomplish amazing things, even when the odds are stacked against them. I want to tell you this. If you find that you're in a situation in your life and things have stacked up against you, that is the time that you need to stack up a force against these things. So if it's you had a death of a loved one, you lost a job, you lost a relationship, things are happening, find your community, find your support, and dig deep into them. That is your tribe. Dig deep into them. They have your back. Do what you can. And we have to be teaching these kind of strategies to our students and to teachers, because sometimes life is not fair, and you're going to need a tribe to help you to bounce back. I don't think we're fit to do life by ourselves. I think that it pays. It's so sad. I was in the mall the other day, and there was this man by me, and he was just depressed or just down. I don't know. And I was just trying to talk with him. I was trying to be bubbly, trying to be like bubbly bouncing bee, trying to lift his spirit. Because that's just who I am. I like to see people in good spirits. And it was like he was getting there, and then he just reverted back. Like he just did not want to be in a good mood. And I have to be honest, I get it. Sometimes you do want to sulk, and you want to just kind of throw a pity party because it wasn't fair, things weren't right. But I want to encourage you and say, take advantage of the beautiful moments in life. Look at the flowers, look at the clouds, look at the kind gestures, take advantage of those sweet moments in life, and allow that to build up your gratefulness when you can't find it anywhere. Don't sulk for too long, because we still need you. I hope that, everyone will be able to overcome trauma, or definitely have some insights and some nuggets as to how to move forward in the face of trauma, especially after watching this podcast. So now let's keep going. So it was talking to us about what grit is and how it's a trait. And it talks about a person with high level of grit can accomplish amazing things, even when the odds are stacked against them. And then it says, in other words, grit is the motivational force. I love it. It's the motivational force that keeps you going when the going gets tough. It really is. It's a fuel. I spoke about that on Vanessa's podcast. And then it says here, it's a combination of mental toughness and persistence. People with grit can bounce back from adversity, overcoming failure after defeat, and eventually achieving success. Now this part, I love it. It's self-discipline. Again, it's self-discipline. When you have grit, you are willing to work hard for long periods on a challenging event, even when you're not sure if you'll succeed or not. You don't give up easily because your desire for success outweighs your fear of failure. Again, you don't give up easily because your desire for success outweighs your fear of failure. And I know it kind of hits me sometimes. Like people are like, it's because I guess they call me an empath, somebody that really cares and not, I'm just a people person. I want everybody to win. And I guess that's the thing is I really do believe everyone can win. We really all can win. And I think that it's through grit. And I think all of our students can win. They can win through grit. Every leader can win. And not only that, I want everyone to win. I want everyone set up for success. Like this is like the core of me. I gotta see everyone thrive and win however they can, especially doing it in integrity and doing it while you're fulfilling life's purpose. And grit is it. Grit is the key. Grit is an answer for all of us. And so let's keep going back to this importance of resilience and grit. I like that. He's walking through a brick wall. I really like these cartoons. He's walking through this brick wall. He's owning it. Okay. Now, the importance of resilience and grit. Why resilience is important. Resilience is a mindset. It's the way of seeing a world and responding to it that helps us to stay afloat in times of distress. The more resilient we are, better equipped we are to bounce back from any challenge. It doesn't just come from having a positive attitude. It's about having the right attitude for your situation. It's about knowing what you need to do next to get back on track to move forward. So you definitely have to use your grit and resilience in order to put the plan. And grit is powerful because you don't feel like putting together a plan. It helps you to really sink in and put in a plan. Here about why it's important and with resilience. And it says, in order to be resilient, you have to have an inner strength. Repeat after me. Inner strength. Because that is what helps you to cope with whatever life throws at you. And we have to be honest. We all have those humanity moments where we're just human. We do need to be able to cope and be able to have a plan to bounce back. It's not enough to just cope. You can cope and be spinning your wheels, right? And allow the situation to overtake you. But when you put a plan together to say, okay, I'm going to give myself this many days to cry over this, and then I'm going to get up and do something. Or I'm going to give myself this many days to deal with the shock factor, and then put together a plan to move forward. That's what you got to do. So here it says, why grit is important. Here we go. Grit. Okay. So grit is important because it can help you improve your mental toughness, which we all need. It says it's a combination of hard work and determination. Being able to keep going when you're tired, this is it, or frustrated is an important trait for successful people in any field, whether it's sports, business, or personal development or education. It says your ability to be more determined and persistent will make you better at whatever you do. At this kind of determination, it will help you overcome obstacles. Beautiful. Love it. Okay, that's what it's all about. So now for those that are like, we don't need grit, you don't need resilience, it's not a big deal. Let's talk to you. So it says the benefits of developing resilience and grit. Look at this guy. I'm really digging this cartoon today. Okay, so it says developing resilience and grit can help you get through difficult times. When you're resilient, you're able to pick yourself up after a setback and keep going. You're flexible and able to adapt to change. Now, this reminds me of, when unfortunately, my mom had passed and I was, pursuing my doctorate at UF, and we were, doing, it was just really tough. We had to, arrange for the funeral. We had to, make sure the house was, done with, like everything, the whole transitioning, medical stuff. It was a lot. And then going to work that next week or so, and trying to save face. And at the time I was an administrator. Grit seemed like it was out the door. It just was not there. Was it easy? No. What got me through? It wasn't just the inner resilience and grit. Grit is definitely like a main factor for success and a main factor of bouncing back. I would say it was the other people that was with me. I'll never forget the rock star that was in the school with me. And, you know, her mother also was passing of the same thing. So I was able to connect with her. And we were literally, there were times I would just come to work, close my office door, and we would just sob. We planned sob times. Like, we knew we were closing this chapter with our moms, and we had to be honest. It was not going to always be a easy, upbeat, chipper day. It was like life handed us rocks. And having her, looking forward to going to my office to see her was powerful. Being able to text my friends, being able to call my best friends, and one of my homegirls who she knows who she is. I love you, girl. Just to be able to call and talk to them for hours and just to work out the thoughts and work out the reality of how everything was playing out and how the trauma was really affecting me is key. And I remember meeting a rock star. She's an entrepreneur, and she spoke to me about doodling, which I thought was very cool. And it seemed very fourth grade level, but it worked. And she's like, India, just take a pad, like a notepad, and doodle. Whenever you feel frustrated, doodle. Just doodle all the thoughts. Like, instead of writing out every single thing or typing or writing, take a pen and take a pad and doodle, and just doodle until you release all of that out of you. Or getting a massage. I don't know about you, but sometimes you rock stars that are out here in the space, whether you're keynoting or you're writing or whatever. And where does that stress go? Where does it build up? I know for me, it might build up here, like in my neck, or in my lower back. And it's like, oh my word. And so what do you do? How do you release those toxins and all the stress out of you? Find your outlet, find a way, to overcome that trauma. Use the tribe around you like I used when, my mother's situation was taking place. Get connected to community groups. Get connected to people that accept you through and through. People that accept you, when not just at your high, but at your lowest of lows. And those that know your qualms and they know your flaws and they still want to be around you. That is your tribe. Get connected to those people. Because it's imperative that you're connected to the right people as you're overcoming. I also want to remind you that if you're releasing energies, then that means there's a new season, a new door, some new opportunity, a new relationship, something is around the corner for you. So don't count it as you've lost it all. Something good will still happen for you. You just have to believe that. And so with that said, I'm going to go back to the concept of grit, or the tendency for people to persist in obstacles and adversity. And it also has high levels of persistence and perseverance. Okay. People that have resilience, they tend to be optimistic about their chances of success. People with grit are resilient in the face of life's challenges. So you need resilience in order to have grit, to push through difficult circumstances and emerge stronger for it. And so researchers have found, here you go, that there is a positive correlation between resilience and grit. Again, researchers have found that there is a positive correlation between resilience and grit, which means that the people that have high levels of resilience tend to have high levels of grit, which I've talked about in my TED Talk. Thank you for the confirmation. People with low levels of resilience can cause to have low levels of grit. Yes, the two terms are related, and their qualities also do develop over time. They can develop over time. Resilience is about responding well to adversity, while grit is about pushing through adversity and achieving your goals despite it. Again, resilience is about responding well to adversity, while grit is pushing through adversity and achieving your goals despite it. Okay. So share one more thing with you, and that's, another article that I found on how to let go of past trauma. So it says here, trauma is an emotional response to an overwhelming physically or emotionally threatening event. Trauma can result from adverse life events in your childhood or adulthood, abuse, relationship violence, assault, loss, and more. So making sense of a traumatic incident and its aftermath is hard. And then it says, healing may feel impossible. So again, making sense of a traumatic incident is hard. Healing may be impossible. However, trauma-informed care and effective treatments options are available to help individuals begin to mend and emotionally and physically after that. So, past trauma side effects. So I want to say something really quick. Just because you are going through trauma does not mean something is wrong with you. Again, just because you're going through trauma does not mean something is wrong with you. Okay, it's just a part of life. You will bounce back. Things will work out for you, but it's just a part of your life's journey. And you just have to have a equation, a way to get through it. And grit is one of those ways. So let's keep going and let's see. So past side effects of the trauma. So it says that in a trauma literature noted approximately 60% of men and 51% of women experienced a traumatic event. That's a lot of people. I wonder about the others that have never experienced trauma. So it says 60% of men and 51% of women reported experiencing a traumatic event in their lives. So reactions can be acute or long-term. Traumatic events can lead to disturbances or a decline in emotional, physical, and interpersonal well-being, right? And sometimes people, it can lead to people getting a diagnosis of PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. Some of those responses include intrusive, repetitive memories or distressing thoughts, flashbacks, nightmares or trouble sleeping, memory issues, persistent distressing emotions, including fear, shame. Shame is huge, right? Rage, guilt. They even put shame twice. So that just said shame is huge. It's in their article. They have shame mentioned twice. I told you there's something about shame. And then it says anxiety or depression, feeling on edge or easily startled, irritability, isolation or withdrawal from support, dissociation, detachment, or depersonalization. And it's very tempting to do this, especially when you're going through a lot. And then avoidance of thoughts or triggers related to the event. And so what is considered traumatic? So here are a couple things here. You've got a sudden death. What's considered traumatic? A sudden death or a loss of a loved one, divorce or end of a significant relationship, physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, accidents, assault or violence, combat or exposure to elements of war, right? Chronic or extreme stress, surviving a natural disaster. So these are all different things. And then it says, why letting go is hard. It's normal to have difficulty recovering from trauma or pain in the past. Just because the experience is over, it doesn't mean that you haven't been deeply affected. So it can take time to recognize and understand what's happened and what it means for you. Letting go implies that you're releasing ourselves from parts of the past. This can be challenging when we've created bonds or had meaningful memories attached to people, places, or things. But there's freedom in letting go. So it says, letting go can be scary, but it doesn't mean that you're minimizing or invalidating your experiences. On the contrary, it can be an act of freedom and healing. And it's the truth. So here you go. Here are some ways to let go of past trauma. Stay connected to your support system. Find healthy activities that help with self-expression. Move your body in gentle ways like stretching, yoga, or walking. Eat balanced meals. Keep a regular sleep routine. I laugh. Practice mindfulness and relaxation techniques. Attend a support group. Use stress management strategies. And seek help from a mental health professional. Huge. So it says, if you're supporting a loved one who's recovering from trauma, remember that each person heals at their own pace. Be honest about how you can provide support and help them seek out a profession when needed. So now it's talking about all of these different things. Like here's grief, there's denial, there's bargaining, there's anger, there's depression, there's acceptance. So I want to just encourage all of you as you're overcoming trauma. Yes, these stages are real, but you can bounce back. And even when you get to this place over here where it's acceptance, you can blossom even in a stage of acceptance. And so they have here many different resources that you can seek. And so, in a conclusion, it says trauma is the emotional, mental, and physical distress that can occur in the face of overwhelming or terrible events. The effects can be overwhelming. So focus on your mental and physical well-being and seek therapy that can help you heal. And so I want to just say too, as you're overcoming, choosing to be self-disciplined and having grit in the face of trauma is huge. And knowing that through grit, you can start mapping out long-term goals, that if you are now at a reset and things are now, you're starting over some facet, take that moment to say, okay, I'm here now. So now that I'm here, where do I want to, what do I want to see in my life 5 years from now? How about what do I want to see in the next year or two? Start setting some goals and start deciding how much grit is that going to mean I need? And then where's my tribe? And what do I need to do to, get back up or to bounce back from the situation? And so with that said, I want to encourage you and say that you've got what it takes. So take grit with you. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Thanks so much for letting me share. Again, check out my website whenever you get a chance at www.india-white.com for books, blogs, or to schedule me for your next speaking or coaching event. Make sure you follow me on social media when you get a chance. Facebook is Miss India White. LinkedIn is The India White. Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach. Instagram is Indie238. YouTube is India White 123. And TikTok is Dr. India White. Hope to see you guys at some of these events, whether it's North Dakota or at the FCTM or at camp or at NCSM, NCTM, ICTM, or beyond. I'm here for you. Can't wait to see you guys. And thank you to everyone that has opened their doors to me. And so with that said, guys, we've had a wonderful, wonderful time on the Grit and Equity Talks podcast. I hope you're enjoying the month of June. And until next time,